Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. As Broadway gets ready to open up, I'm in the heart of Times Square to bring you a sneak peek at the brand new interactive exhibition called Showstoppers, spectacular costumes from stage and screen, which will benefit the costume industry's Coalition Industry Fund.
I'm the business manager at John Christensen, New York, one of the costume shops in the city. John is also my life partner. And in the wake of the pandemic, we were sitting around wondering what we were going to do. And May of 2020, when the timeline kept stretching, we knew that we would have to stand up and make some noise because we're sort of a forgotten industry. And as we were watching other people shut their offices, we knew we couldn't. Our mini shops that are in and around the city couldn't simply shut down to reopen when Broadway was ready to come back. So we started the coalition to advocate for our collective survival. So we now have 55 member shops in and around the city that create, supply, and care for the costumes for Broadway, television, film, dance, opera, everything. We represent over 500 specialty artisans and costuming experts, and we've been fundraising just to keep afloat. We lost $26.6 million in gross revenue in 2020, and we're millions of dollars in debt because we have all the back rent to pay. So this exhibition is really not only a chance to raise some funds, it's to show off a little bit of what we do, but also how we do it. Tonight you'll see some people on the floor actually working. We have a full shop actually set up. They're over there working, they're patterning and they're stitching. I've got an embroiderer here tonight. I'm going to have a knitter on hand, and our milliner is working. So there are quite a few people tonight that are going to be on hand for you to see what they do. The government has done what they can with the Save Our Stages, which is great for the stages, but ultimately we realized we had to sort of motivate ourselves to raise some funds. So we partnered with a not-for-profit 501c3 called the Artisans Guild of America. Their mission is to perpetuate the American tradition of the artisan workroom. That's what we are. So with that, we were able to raise funds. We've raised over $500,000 so far for our recovery fund, doing all sorts of things. We've had a couple of angels come in, which has been amazing. We did a pattern project with Paul Taswell, Hamilton's designer. He did a pattern that we actually have sold online. We sold it on Etsy. We sold over 3,000 patterns. We've raised over $60,000 for our fund in patterns. And I have a little secret because I can't, it's announced. I think it's announced. We have another pattern coming, and it's actually on the floor. Yeah.
See,
I'm going to let you go find it. I'm not going to tell you about it.
What were these past 15 months like for you? I mean, with the shop and just not knowing anything, none of us knew anything starting out. Can you put the last 15 months into perspective?
Devastating, really, really hard. As soon as the pandemic hit, I downsized, so I have a much smaller staff than I did, but that meant it was me for months on end. And downsizing meant scaling down the shop itself. It meant I rented out half the shop. There's somebody else in that. They're wig makers. They're stuck in London because there's no work here yet. Everybody in the industry has really struggled to try to figure out how to make their way through this. Fortunately, we do some TV and film work. So picking up on that was able to carry us through the summer months. And now theater's picking up again, and hopefully will continue.
This exhibit is a way to open up the sort of spectacle of show business and open up the spectacle of costume making and give people an insight into the fantastic community that makes these things and works always behind the scenes, and just kind of bring them out of the shadows.
Like, what went through your mind right away of how you thought it was all going to lay out?
Well, we came down here and looked, and this space still had a lot of retail fixtures piled in the corner and stuff, and I thought, well, we've got some work to do. But what we really wanted to do was bring the makers and the finished costumes into juxtaposition. And originally we thought we'd sort of do a ring of the shows and put the makers in the middle, and then we sort of looked and thought, it's not very interesting. So we began to create this kind of maze where you get a little bit of front of house, a little bit of back of house, and begin to have a kind of interplay and a conversation. And it's been exciting to develop.
people walk away with after they come to this gorgeous exhibit?
A bigger and better appreciation of what it is and what it takes to get something on stage. A lot of people think that when they think of costumes, they think Halloween or something. We do couture work. Every single thing we make is done by hand. It's done for an individual body, an individual person. It is constructed in a way that will last 8 shows a week, 365 weeks a year. People don't understand that, yeah, that's one costume, and it has to last that long. So it's not just us, it's the wardrobe people who maintain it. There's a whole ecosystem of community that really make this happen.
Now, if somebody wants to donate to the fund, where do they go?
They can go to our website. It's thecostumeindustrycoalition.com. There's a little donate button there, and it goes right to our GoFundMe charity page where you can make a tax-deductible donation.
It's like all the Broadway shows and every show in here is having a little conversation with each other, and that's a kind of lovely thing to make.